Can a Polkadot 100x? In this video, we're going to jump down into that question. We're going to review what's going on with Polkadot and whether or not a 100x is actually possible here for the DOT token. So as I get into the video, if you find it useful, informative, smash the like button, and if you are new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe. Tapping the bell, selecting all the notifications will keep you up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't joined us in Discord, well, what are you waiting for? Check it out, linked in the description below. It's completely free. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check it out? We'll try to keep this one nice and brief. There isn't terribly too much to talk about when it comes to the price action of Polkadot, and the answer to the question, can Polkadot 100x, I think is a reasonably simple one. No, but I'm going to break down why I say no. Right now, Polkadot is a cryptocurrency I'm invested in, and I have a okay position in Polkadot, but it's not one that I think is going to perform amazingly well. Historically speaking, it hasn't performed incredibly well. However, Chris, the counterpart to this channel, he actually thinks it's going to perform a lot better than it has done historically. Things from a fundamental standpoint are actually doing quite well. And so if we just take a look at the technicals, it doesn't look strong. But if we take a look at from a fundamental point of view, actually Polkadot's not a bad investment choice, right? And so we have to kind of mix the two things together, right? We're going to have to take a look at where things are currently on the price action of Polkadot, but we also have to take into consideration all the commits for Polkadot and everything that's being built on the Polkadot ecosystem and where we think the future potential lies. Is it undervalued? Is it overvalued? Right? And these kind of things. So let's start off with the technical elements of this, right? So as we can see, we've come down pretty aggressively, and this is kind of a pretty obvious one to a point. We do have the low currently set down here, and this low comes in 92.33% from the all-time high being $55.09, right? So our bear market low is down here at $4.22.4, and I still think we're going to go down lower than this. I don't think the bear market low is in at the moment. Now, what you will notice is that there's an area of previous demand for Polkadot right in this little range here between $3.60 and $4.12.5. You lose this range, and I think it's pretty much going to be a very, very turbulent time for Polkadot. We might see some very, very cheap, rare prices for Polkadot in the future if that is the case. So then, of course, we haven't got a history here on the Binance chart to kind of show you that. As you can kind of see, our origin is August 2020. So we need to be a little bit cautious here because, yes, we could see further downside. Now, when I say no, we're not going to see a 100x Polkadot, really that's subject to how low this thing goes. The lower it goes, the higher the potential is for a 100x. At the current point, the current low, it's very unlikely that we're going to go up to $422 to make it that 100x situation. So we need to be a little bit cautious there, right? Because we can see that, yes, there's going to be some potential future gains, and they'll probably be reasonable. But for the most part, we're not going to see from our current lows, 100x. If, however, price action were to go down to $1, then yeah, I think 100x is something that we might actually see for Polkadot. We might see a lot of demand coming in, soaking up a lot of the supply for DOT to the point where maybe there's going to be a very significant surge in the future. So we need to be a little bit cautious when we say no, it can't do 100x, because it is going to be subject to how low this thing may go. And that's not to say that it's going to go down to $1, because no one can really see that from this chart here. It just looks like we probably have further downside to be expected on Polkadot. So let's take a look. If we can keep our actual low point here on this chart at $2, then we should see a reasonable way to kind of move up forward, right? So we saw 2,654% in gains, so not too dissimilar to that of Bitcoin, which is not a performer in itself. So we know that Bitcoin did 2,000% in gains. We saw XRP with about 1,800, and we can see here Polkadot sitting at around 2,600. These are good gains if you're in the stock market game or the Forex game, but for crypto, it's 2000% is not what you would expect from an entire bullish market, right? So you had things in my previous portfolio like Polkadot, like Algorand, like XRP, like Stellar Lumens. They just didn't do as well as others, such as Polygon's Matic or Cardano's ADA, VeChain's VET token, Harmony One, and so forth, right? Those did incredibly well for our portfolios. Whereas these more mainstream projects, they didn't actually perform as well as you'd think. And so we have to kind of be cautious, okay? I keep saying that because I'm invested in Polkadot based on what Chris is telling me from a fundamental standpoint. There's a lot of building going on. There's a lot of things that are looking primed and good to kind of launch. And you've got to bear in mind, it wasn't really a good ecosystem for launching back in the last bullish market, whereas now it's even stronger. So it's a much stronger project now than it was previously. So that lackluster performance that we saw in 2021 might actually now translate into a really big positive movement in price action for the next bullish market, whether that's 2024 or 2025, right? And so from a fundamental point of view, things are going on quite nicely on the ecosystem and we can see it growing and flourishing. So maybe that's going to help with extra demand later down the line. That'll be the thing that the tester will tell the test of time if whether Chris is correct on that. I invested in Polkadot quite nicely and healthily, but it's not going to make or break my portfolio either way. And so we're just going to be cautious with it. I like Polkadot. I think the technology is good, and I think maybe the future is bright. But from a technical standpoint, the future doesn't look like it's going to be delivering massive gains. Now, if we take the existing low, or actually I'll take the low down here if we can keep it at $3.50. Then we can see a potential growth up here, okay, between $97 and $217. That would get us an interesting kind of spot where we might be able to see some growth for Polkadot, right? So if I just bring this in, to go a little bit too far there, so this makes it a little bit bigger, and because we've come down quite aggressively here so far, and we take that as a low point, that as a high, then we can see this is a potential move to the upside. Again, the structure isn't amazing here, so I would say that we need to be cautious with that idea that we can kind of push up in this particular pattern. It's something that we could see quite obviously. Like, I think for the most part, we have a very typical kind of 5-wave pattern here with a truncated 5th wave, typical for 2021 because Bitcoin did something similar here. And so, you know, we can see that basically it's just following the market. Now, if that is a 5-wave structure, and it looks like it to me, then we should be thinking that our next move will be 5 to the upside, right? And if you start with 5, you end in 5, and therefore we can potentially come up into a new all-time high. Lose that low at $2 though, and that's out of the question, right? So we have a little bit of caution with regards to that, but for the most part, I think that yeah, we're going to see gains. It's just not going to be 100x kind of gains. And that means there's going to be potential opportunities outside of Polkadot if you are a more risky individual, right? I've covered a few projects recently that I think can do 100x, and obviously a couple that I think cannot. So in this particular case, I think XRP and Polkadot are aligned to seeing pretty nice gains, pretty significant gains, but probably will not see 100x kind of gains. And so therefore you do with that information as you see fit. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot give financial advice. All I can do is share my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I personally see it. And as it looks for me, Polkadot doesn't seem to be that massive portfolio driver. That's not to say that you shouldn't have exposure to it, because I have got exposure to it. I think there's still going to be some gains to be made there, and it's good to have diversification within the portfolio, but I am going to focus more on some slightly higher risk projects like FRA's Findora, or Findora's FRA, I should say, to kind of see those more kind of 100x like gains. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you found this kind of content useful, informative, smash that like button. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe. Stay up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you joined us in Discord, what you're waiting for, check it out. Linked in the description below, and I will catch you all in the next one.
We are not financial advisors, and none of what we have communicated verbally or in writing here should be considered as financial advice. It is not. Do your own research before investing in any digital asset or affiliate offers, and understand that investing in any crypto is risky. If you do, you need to be prepared to lose your entire investment. This video is for information and entertainment purposes only. All our videos are strictly personal opinions. Please make sure you do your own research and never take our opinions for financial guidance. There are multiple strategies, and not all strategies fit all people. Our videos are not